Hi guys, and welcome to your NXT Revenge Week further video. So this is part 2 of the NXT Revenge specials. And so we'll pick off with the review. If you haven't checked out my previous reviews from WrestleMania weekend or the stream with Sean, they're available right now to watch. But before we get in, but before we get into it all, I can share my content on it. Um, and if you're not already subscribed, please consider it. But now we'll get into the review. Uh, we have to show, we'll get rid of that, and we'll consult our notes to start off with. Yes, Miles born and Dion with Knox kicks us off for the NXT North American Championship. I'm actually surprised at how much offense Dion Lennox got in. Hearing Miles born considering he's just already recently became champion. So yeah, but communication issues with say come on sugar or and then the Miles on Subsolena accent sugar. Miles born hits the second born again in the match, and that gets a win. Well, Lennox really did take it to on here, but again, the communication issues with sugars remain prevalent, and that carries on later on. Very decent match. Dion Lennox has improved a bit, of course, but we then actually see later on Sugar's actually going to Adam Pearce with a snarry match, um, and like a snarry match. We've got to give the State another chance. Sugar says don't go to kick and keep handing out opportunities to the same group all the time. I found the ball um for that state neutral. Later on, later on, he said to Enoch, they spoke to Stone and he got the Rima. Uh, so Enox is always ITT thinks yes, I'm getting a rematch, but Stone actually he told Sugar Sugar us gets him a match, so Lennox reluctantly he shakes his hands and he says, "Go after Sugar." Or says he's bringing the North American Championship back home. Talking of the North American Championship, uh, the women's North American Championship is on the line in a casket. A match a bit later to the born Lennox actually you see Bill Aikman Rowe. She says nothing is more perfect than me. He posing with a moment of this title and the casket matches the as casket matches devised from Tatum sick with a state dark rain the vanity project actually say you've got all this but Brad Baylor says don't worry you've got all this you'll win the match in the North American title of course but Bill Hake's been posing with the gifted titled the Vanity Project got her the bogus custom version. Jackson Drake says he's got a date across the street. So um but so well he says don't worry but eyes will be safe should they go should the vanity project go on the later on you later on you see that Shiloh Hill and Tatum Paxwell are having a conversation Shiloh she's Tatum good luck in the casket match. She says she's worried about Vanity Project getting involved. Shiloh says um Shiloh I've set Jackson Drake up on a date. We'll get into the date later on because it is kind of important. Then we get to Joe Hendry versus Keanu Carver, the second match of the night. Carver, um, Carver looked like $1 million here, obviously, because Joe Hendry's getting called up. The outcome will, and the outcome will, is obvious, and the outcome will be as obvious as Joe Hendry's on the Raw. Carver got a lot of physical offense, and Hendry did get a brief comeback. He hits the power spot. He hits the power spot. Um, um, but Keanu Carver others hits him, um, hits him with uh, like Hummel style punches. It's about like Randy Orton and Rock with Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. I am that actually leads to referee stoppage. And so Keanu Harper wins. Mike Rome makes the announcement. He comes off as a big star. Booker, he is horrified. He's like, don't let this happen. The ref, get in there, do your job. So yeah, Carver's victorious. Um, just back to my notes for a moment. So then we get to yeah. So Harvard looked quite strong. Hendry got minimal offense. Um, it was actually the elbows rather than punches. Again, it was Baroque with Lesnar style. Hendry had the more serious expression. Yeah, actually, yeah, actually got a pre-tape promo introducing Owl as Elaine, who was formerly known as Revange Leverkusen in the UK independent circuit. She's got a heavy metal gimmick. She was just told she was too loud in heavy metals um, and heavy metals. And the signs are actually good, guys, because she does have a bit of presence about her. And yeah, I think that's, yeah, I think it'll be pretty good. I'm not really too excited by the name change, but it's WWE. It's WWE, and they want to own their own um trademarks. So naturally, the name change happens. Um, and so far, all the things are pointing in the right direction. She does have a bit of presence about her. I'm not gonna lie, it's just the name changes a bit. Nah, like it doesn't really do anything for me. The name change. She certainly it came across interesting in the promo. So I'm not gonna knock that too much. Um, again, it's just the name change, just a light nitpick thing, but I also understand that the WWE want to own their own trademarks and especially TKO. I'll have a video out discussing what's happening behind the scenes with TKO in the coming weeks, but until then, we'll get back to the sort of the year. And so then we um so then we get to the and um s- speed championship. Sorry for the hiccup, guys. But the birthright come out all my bus. So you've got Ariana Grande, Channing Stats with Lorenzo, Charlie Dempsey, and Il Dixon. Their company Lex, their company Lexus King out as he is obviously with Eli Frost as opponent. Last time out, if you remember, O X's defeated um defeated Chaz um Chaz our boy Hall, who's an indie stand out on the California circuit. So yeah, so it says Like it says here, according to my notes, that obviously, Prosper the out did start out the stronger or high for high moves to start constant interference by the upright. He goes for the moonsault to put he goes for the moonsault to put X's king away, but he gets knocked off. He then deals with the upright on the outside. He turns on, he gets slapped by Ariana Grace, takes out the three other ads, but because of the distraction, King hits um King hits the ordination swell in the neck, but he couldn't get so in, and he advances. So later on, the buff right were harassed by Irish rival. What's next for the buff right now that Alexis King's advanced? It'd be interrupted by EK Pro Oscar. On he wants another go at what Axis King. Dorian Van Dukes, who they've heard, who they've actually heard EK Prosper up if says he wants in. So Ariana says now that we've got two championships, we have some stroke, but Ing would actually answer Sarah Schreiber's question with this. Um, he says we'll rid the business of Anna Ielgra graduates and anti swabs and make this a pull. He's built on generational talent. Obviously, that tag match will be next week. Um, so, I did like the response here. They're really pulling up this generational faction quite well. I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen Regal and Fit Finlay be kept as like managers in a managerial capacity, but it's not me. But that wasn't meant to be. I kinda knew that they wouldn't, but yeah, it kind of enhance the faction a bit if they did get kept. But for the most part, I do like the faction. I think Arya, Anna, and X's King um are the two most most charismatic. You've got Charlie Dempsey, who's the best wrestler out the ensemble, although Ariana is pretty good in her own right, but in terms of being a pure wrestler, or Charlie Dempsey basically takes that accolade. Um, but yeah, moving on, guys. So yeah, So King picks her up the pinfall and I do I come to the fair. Then it's time for the Women's North American Championship Casket match. Then, so obviously, but obviously, Aikman and the row comes out, and obviously the Bill at Super Bowl actually Alison, she comes out with a bouquet of flowers. She puts it into off of the car off and take obviously complete the bill at the hill. Then you have got Tate and Patsy, she's got her own bill at the hill on as well. Um, she comes out and it's a bit like a house of fire. We'll talk a bit about Bill Hicks bogus custom unofficial title because that comes into play a bit during this match. She brings that out as well. And for the most part, I really did enjoy this match. This match was probably the best match of the night. Um, considering considering it could have went either way, but I'm thinking more that Billy Monroe is getting called up to the SmackDown and brand side of things. But yeah, really good back and forth physical match. Um, obviously Tatum's the doll house comes in. She sets it up. Well, he actually super X's are onto the doll house. It's been propped up behind the barricade. Um, as we head into the ad break, but at the start of the match, you see Monroe get was lying over the top rope and in the casket, but she stands up, but she's freaked out. Then you then you see a lot of offense to Tatum's head gets driven into the casket. The two actually eh, end up in the casket at one point, and the lid shuts. The refs have to leave it off. So the match continues. But he actually tries to hit a Galama shot DDT on top of the casket, but Tatum actually is able to move out and kinda super X it off. Um, eventually though, Bill like attack the Gawama shot DDT as Patsy is propped up behind the casket. The blue it's brutal um later on Monroe would take one of the pillows out of there. It's been loaded up with diamonds and basically it's Billy. Aikman Rose sort of a best bag spot because we in a bash is to spread thumbtacks over there and Bill actually uses the diamonds and so basically what happens here is and the roll goes for the gill armor shot onto the diamonds. It's countered into the cemetery drive by Patsley and obviously and obviously but is put away into the coffin and the lid's shut and Tatum Patsley is 2-0 in casket matches. One spot I really like was midway through the match. Well, he actually picked up our own version of the women's North American title. She's going to hit Paxley. If it Paxley ducks out the way, the championship goes flying and the casket, and then that's what saves Paxley from um um from having the lid was the honour. We then later on find out Jackson Drake he was set up by Shiloh Hill who mocked up an AI image but this woman who killed him should the high sex cop seats for a living and such down um her and Jackson go off on a date. The other members of a anti project like the over and it's not looking good for Tatum for Bill Aikman and the role because as the date is happening obviously obviously Monroe's been put in the casket by Pat's regular 8 match here best match of the night and it's good to the old house and the diamonds and the diamonds were brought back into play. Um, actually, I made a mistake. It wasn't a suplex off the casket part, so he uses to walk the gill hammer shot DDT. It was a Spanish foul. Aye. So yeah, that was a cool move off the top of the casket as well. That was midway through the match. Monroe uses a fire extinguisher to behind Pat's only very good very good match, very spot heavy, but I enjoyed that. Of course, they used the casket effectively. Um, so, yeah, so think that was I think that was Andy Starr Michael Walker they were and I think she was in the extra on the day as of the top job um hundred or occupation doesn't sound too good with if your power me and the role as I've said but fun match this was one of the better this was one of the better casket matches and on the day or uh, uh, um said to Jericho it gets him reeled and also a bit of uh, so a bit of and Ines here obviously NXT's for a more adult audience as we've spoke about. So then we get a promo from Lola of Ice talking about her being NXT champion and about how this title can elevate women into the main event. And she says she's only be a fighting champion. She says respect the J.C. Jane. She's really elevated herself into being into being a superstar. But she says but she says anyone on the opening device city the extra actors should know that they are in a fight uh, they are in a fight and uh, I'm not gonna give up the title so easily. She does address Kendall Raquel Armstrong as a Eamon's area who can for a hunted her at the end of last uh, at the end of last week's episode. Outcomes as a game she says she's waiting on the pressure to get to all she says it won't be the big moments in the title in little crack you be the small moments um and s- um she's taking a claim to be number one contender of a Anson Spears the Strato and as he actually is out low uh oh he's out low uh um Ice and didn't really um sound all that confident and they didn't as well either on the mic and then we get the Kendall Gary NXT Chronicle for a deal she talks about being a tomboy competing with me and the amateurs and um whole agent collegiate wrestling championships, and basically you get to know where she was in. She went to watch NFL games with her father. She was into hanging out with or rather than his friends at every sewing matches and fight competitions. It's all very good stuff here. I aren't the actual continuing the feud with Endo and Woe. That should be the first, that should be the first um proper feud because there's unfinished business here. Um, but yeah, that's personal preference. It's not me digging out as a dame. I do think she's a good performer at sometimes when she's on the mic. I'm not really too convinced. Oh, um, and I didn't really have a lot to bounce off when Izzy came out either. It just made it a wee bit awkward, so that'll affect the final grade a bit when we get to it. But then we get to but then we get to the main end of the show. So look versus Zarya and our to women's standing match of any physical from both women. What's a brawling as it's a last to women's standing match is a Arya Schultz. So if the cables are inside, so hits a lot of high flying offense as you'd expect. Azaria spears her through the stage, and a table was set up. Azaria goes for a second table. Um, they're up on the same stage that Aria speared Soul through the bottom of Soul hits the area with the Soul Snatcher on up. She then looks to throw the area off the stage into the tables. The areas like sorry of you the two women hug, and then obviously the area shoves Soluka off the stage, crashing through both tables and Hanzilla asked to women's standing match. This is to be expected as Soluka's now on her wall. So yeah, again that will affect the grade just slightly, but it was a good match here. And yeah, that is basically it for your NXT you do actually get a lot of weapon shots, years etc. Exchange. Zarya hits F5 through the table, which looked really cool. And then the final spot or at the end of the match, which I thought was a stroke genius. But yeah, that can kill your NXT review, guys. You should go and check uh, the last women standing match out, and also the casket match if you want to see Keanu Harvard being dominant. You can, uh, as well, because that was decent. Long Ex's King and EK Prosper was okay. The men's North American Championship match again was decent, but obviously it was to further the um dissension with sugars and all nuts within darks. He but yeah, but yeah, but yeah, the last woman standing match now presents Zarya as the monster or heel. I think eventually, guys, I think eventually, guys, she'll be the one to take the belt away from Low of ice, because obviously with that sort of victory it propels her into that spot. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 7.5. Really good matches. It's just the the promo exchange between Izzy and Lola, I was slightly off, and the Henry match with Harvard was kind of an obvious outcome, as was Zarya versus Soul, as they've both been all Doctor all but that last double women standing match was kind of an obvious outcome. The casket match is already one of the matches of the year so far. It's probably up there with CM Punk and Roman Reigns at Mania as two of the best matches of the year. And yeah, so guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. And yeah, like, share and subscribe, and I will see you all very soon. Um, and take your and keep running into the show, and specifically NXT, because that's where the next Raw Patel and are coming from. And I'll see you very soon.